When a villain has to tell the world how to be a hero, that is when you know something is really wrong. Let's put it this way. Boku no Hero Academia. Chapter 51 made me shit a brick. I shit you not. I shat a brick. Because that shit... Oh my god. Boku no Hero Academia. That one line from Stain. That one line. Or it's just that speech. Not line. But that speech he said to Ida. When Ida's sitting there talking about, like, his vengeance. He's like, you hurt my brother. He's paralyzed and he can't move. He gave me my dream. He has to give up. And then, as he says this, he's like, I'll kill you. And then all of a sudden, Stain points his finger to the dude right behind him that he wrecked in the last chapter. And he's like, save him. He's like, before you start worrying about your own self, why don't you go save others instead? Instead of you start thinking about yourself. If you're a true hero, you will save others before yourself. Before you think of your selfish desires. He's like, what you're doing right now for your own greed and revenge and vengeance is the furthest away you can be from a hero. And then he's like, and that is why I will kill you. Because you're not a hero. Not exactly word for word, quote for quote, you know. But the point still stands. That's the point of what it was. And right off the bat, just going to say, Stain, very good villain. A very, very good villain. Stain is such a good villain. He's not just a serial killer that's just, you know, going around hurting heroes and killing them and all that and just going after All Might. He has a lot more complexity about his character instead of just wanting to kill All Might and then kill off fake heroes. He has so much more to him. And I realize that now with his entire speech he did in this chapter to Ida. Like, he is the villain to set everything straight. For instance, there's too many heroes that are fake heroes doing it for their own selfish desires and not doing it for the people. And I pointed this out in my last chapter review, but seeing it from this perspective of vengeance, I didn't think about it like that. I really did not think about this situation like that, the way Stain put it. He's like, the way you are right now, you should be saving him. Like, it was just a perfect example of how the heroes are so messed up in this verse. How heroes are just doing it for their own selfish desires. They're doing heroics just to get money, get paid, and then do what they want. And they don't want to do it for others. Like other classic heroes we know of in Marvel, DC, or any other different type of series or anime manga, these heroes just want to be paid. We've saw many examples, now that I think about it, from this series. Like Endeavor, the second number 2 hero of the world, or at the very least in Japan. He's pretty much, his entire goal is to pass All Might. That's it. His own selfish desires is to raise a son that will surpass All Might. That's all he cares about. He doesn't give a shit about the people. That's all it is to Endeavor. And if you think about all these heroes are not really heroes. They're just putting on this power display before they can have personal gain. Like I said, and I said at the beginning of this video, when a villain has to tell the people in the world how to be a proper hero, you know something is fucked up. Something really bad is fucked up. A villain shouldn't have to say that. And that's what makes Stain such a good character, just to see that. This adds a new dynamic to this manga series, in general. This new dynamic is to form proper heroes, not heroes that are for just gain. And I wonder what Stain is going to think about when he sees Izuku. Well, Izuku pops up at the end of the chapter, but I mean, I wonder what he's going to think when he sees Izuku and how he thinks. And we saw examples of this. Like, we saw examples of Izuku doing things that were kind of not heroic, actually, if we think about it. Let me explain. In the fight, when he kind of built up Todoroki, remember to use his fire side, and then Izuku lost because of that, there was a specific panel, I can't quote it word for word, so please forgive me, because it's been a while since I read that panel, but I remember there was a specific line in a panel where Izuku felt, like, very guilty, or he was very upset what he did, how he built up Todoroki. Even though he did the right thing and good thing, he felt like he regretted that outcome. Like, he regretted, having Todoroki winning and building him up before he can win. I remember something around the lines, like, Izuku said that when he was in the hospital bed after that fight. I remember a line something similar to that. Could be a translation error, but still, if it's correct, it goes to prove once again how certain heroes are, but it also goes to show you what type of character Izuku is in general, for him to put aside his own wants for the people, for others, for instance, Todoroki. And now seeing that, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind seeing how this series is done. And it's not just that. We got some hints at some other possibilities with Izuku's abilities in this week's chapter. And it hints at a couple other things, which I'll get into, but at the end of the chapter, like the last panel, like the last page or last 2 pages, you see Izuku come in. Like, he's outside of the alleyway, this dark alleyway, and you see, like, this line dash, and it looked like it was Gran Torino. That's what it looked like at first, and you see this dash, and it hits the wall, and then it goes, and you see Izuku punch Stain in the fucking face, and then, the chapter cliffhangers right there. It seemed like Izuku was able to use agility, fast agility, to be able to get to Stain in time. He used agility along with his super strength to win that. And when I saw that, it reminded me a lot of Gran Torino. Now, I think, mentioned this once. Hopefully I did. I mentioned a while back that I kind of theorized, not much, but I theorized that maybe, just maybe, Gran Torino could be, some form of one-for-all quirk user. Maybe he was the person that had, the one-for-all before All Might. I did talk about that, I think, once. I don't know how long it's been, but I think I talked about that when he first appeared. But the point still stands, though. With that, it might be possible Gran Torino could be, like, the same type of quirk ability as All Might and Izuku, since we saw, like, something that looked very similar to Gran Torino's movement when we saw Izuku, using his agility, or his strength, his quirk power, to be able to launch himself off the wall without breaking the wall. Actually, let's take a moment to look at that. Izuku did not break the wall when he used his agility, and when he still managed to hit Stain. So, progress. Definitely major progress right there. So Izuku has made a lot of progress in this arc with using his ability. And the scary part is like, he doesn't use his maximum power. He doesn't. Another thing I want to point out, too, is Stain didn't go down, really. At the end of the chapter, Stain didn't really go down. It's like that punch really didn't do much to Stain. It looked like it didn't at all. So, I don't think Stain is down. I don't think he is. Even though Izuku came in with a fucking crazy-ass punch, punched him in the face, and it looked badass, I don't think Stain is down. Now, he's on a level I don't think a majority of heroes, like, on Izuku's level at the moment could fight. I don't think he can. He's way too strong, and he has a lot of potential as a villain, and I hope he's not wasted. But I have faith in this mangaka, because the way this mangaka has written these characters, it's amazing. I'm liking these villains. I really like these villains. They're so interesting. Like, getting to see Shigaraki, when he was, like, on the rooftop, and you see the Nomus, like, he sent in the Nomus when he found out about the past and stuff. He's like, after tonight, when dawn breaks, you will no longer matter to this world, hero killer. And then, he laughs. So, Shigaraki's out to get the hero killer, which I really hope Stain doesn't, get killed off so early, because he has a lot of potential, so much potential as a person and as a character, just to progress into something magnificent, because him setting the world straight and then saying, like, how to be a proper hero was something that really made me just like him. Like, he was a cool design. Like, he has a really cool and creepy-ass design, and a lot of the villains have better designs than even the heroes, which I'm really enjoying that, but I didn't really have any attachment to Stain, if you get my point. After seeing what I witnessed in this chapter and how he acted, I really, really like him. I really do. I want to see more of him. I hope this is not the final arc we see of him. I hope he doesn't get killed. I hope he does last for, at the very least, another 50 chapters. At the very least. Give us another 50 chapters of this dude, because this dude is pretty good. I like him. Now, we found out that the Nomus, the Nomus are not as strong as the first Nomu we encountered versus All Might. Now, remember in my last review, I talked about, like, if these Nomus are as strong as what we saw from the original Nomu fighting All Might, it's said, done, in game. Like, they're all fucked. That's what I said, because there's no way you're gonna fight that many fucking Nomus that are that strong. Like, that makes All Might push itself to that point. So, we kind of find out they're nowhere near that level. They're strong, but they're nowhere near that level. And there's only 3, but supposedly there is 6 of them, but only 3 have been sent. So there's 3 others somewhere else. And we don't know where they are, but these 3 are not as strong as what Nomu, the original Nomu, was. So we can breathe easy to that. It seemed like Gran Torino was going to be able to hold off that Nomu because he was being able to outmatch that Nomu in speed. He says, like, oh, I can outmatch him and all that from where I'm at. I can react in time. So it seemed like Gran Torino could have handled that Nomu without any problem, but we get to see Endeavor pop up in this chapter and save the day, which it's very ironic if you think about it, like, you know, how Stain has that entire conversation quote those lines and stuff, how he's saying, like, you know, what a proper hero is, and then we see Endeavor in this, and, you know, he's just there for personal gain and shit, and he only cares about, you know, his heir, like, you know, Todoroki, to be able to succeed All Might and strength and become the #1 hero. That's all he cares about. It's very ironic how he appears in this chapter when that happens. But that's pretty much said case in point, because that was very obvious that's what the mangaka was trying to go for, just showing you how corrupt a lot of these heroes are. And so that's about it when it comes to this chapter. Chapter of Boku no Hero Academia. I can't get enough of it. I really can't get enough of this series. It's too good. It's way too good. It is... I say it every week. It's too good, dude. This series is way too good. I external and internal fangasm when I see this series. Like, oh my god. It's... Tell me your thoughts. How do y'all feel about this week's chapter of Boku no Hero Academia? Apparently, we're getting a color page next week, which I'm looking forward to, because I'm curious to see what type of color page we're going to get. Hopefully, we get a colored version of Stain. I don't think Stain's color has actually been announced yet, like, you know, what type of color Stain is with his outfit and stuff. Hopefully we get to see that in the color page that's coming up next week, because I do want to see what Stain really does look like, you know, with his color pattern and stuff. So tell me your thoughts. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.